Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I'm going to explain a topic which is very commonly used in the communication system, which is called a modulation. So the topic here is what is modulation, why we need modulation, and what are the types of modulation. So about these things we will understand in this video. Now this modulation is the major part or a process which is used in any communication system. You take an example of radio communication or radio broadcasting, what we say, television broadcasting, mobile applications, maybe satellite communications, radar applications, in any application. So this is the major step or the process what we use, something called modulation in the transmitter side and demodulation in the receiver side. So in this video we will see why we need this modulation and types of modulation. Now before going into the need of modulation, so what is exactly the modulation is? See, modulation means it is a simple word. The meaning of that word is change. That means we change something. We say voice modulation. What is voice modulation? Change in the voice. When we speak, the change, whatever happens here in the volume is a changes or the modulation what we say. So the same process is actually done in the communication system also. Now, so we have a message signal. As you can see over here in this representation, the block diagram. Just 1 second. Yes, now just see this block diagram here. So we have a modulator. For this modulator, we have given two signals. The one is called information signal or the message signal or modulating signal. Or it is also called a baseband signal, which is usually a low pass type of signal here. That is information signal, modulating signal or a baseband signal. This is the message which I want to transmit through my transmitter to the receiver. Okay. The second signal given is carrier signal, which is a high frequency signal. Usually the information signal is a low frequency signal, and I'll give you the examples later. Carrier is usually a high frequency signal. So what we do is actually we give both signals to the modulator, and in the modulation, as I told earlier, we actually change something. That means what exactly we change is we change the amplitude or the frequency or the phase of this carrier signal proportional to any amplitude variation which is happening in the message signal. The amplitude variation here actually represents the message, the envelope what we say. That actually represents always the information. So as the amplitude of the message signal changes, either the amplitude or the frequency or the phase of this high frequency carrier signal is actually varied or changed or modulated. And hence we get what is called a modulated signal. That's why I represent it here as a modulated carrier. Or we call this as a frequency shifted signal, because in this process of modulation we are converting this low frequency baseband signal or the information signal into a high frequency carrier signal. So some kind of frequency translation, what we say here, some kind of frequency translation actually happens. That means a low frequency signal is changed into a high frequency carrier signal. Okay, so carrier is called carrier because it is used to carry the message to the destination. Now, what is the advantage of converting a low frequency signal into a high frequency carrier by changing the either amplitude or the frequency or the phase continuously depending on the amplitude of the information signal? That we will understand now in the next slide. Now, before going into the need for modulation again, so we should be familiar with these frequency ranges. Basically, these are the different ranges what it is mentioned here. Just look at this. This is a classification or the different ranges, and they are represented by using different names. Let us say the range of very low frequency, that is 30 to 300 hertz. Okay, this is the approximate wavelength which is calculated represented here, where lambda is equal to c by f, as you aware, you know this. This particular range of frequency is actually called as ELF band. ELF stands for extremely low frequency. The next range 300 to 3000 hertz is voice frequency. The next range is 3 to 30 kilohertz is very low frequency. Then the low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency, very high frequency, UHF, the ultra high frequency, super high frequency or extremely high frequency. So these are the classifications. Whichever these are high frequency signals are usually called as radio frequency signals. Some important terms I listed over here. We call the audio frequency, the frequency range, the signal if it falls in this particular range of say 20 Hz to 20 kHz, all are audible range. We can hear it properly. The signals we can hear it, or the signals will convert it to message form, we can hear it. So they are called audio frequency. Okay, voice frequency. So I'm speaking here with a particular the frequency. The range of those signals, if I convert it to electrical form, the frequency of those signals will be in the range of 300 to 3000 Hz. So normally in a radio broadcasting, because in this particular subject, what we are going to study is the application is the radio broadcasting majorly. So in the radio broadcasting, we have something called as AM band and FM band. In the AM band, again, there are two different types again, besides MW, medium wave band, SW, short wave band. So these are all standard frequencies. So MW band, that is medium wave band, the frequency range is always from 535 to 1605 kilohertz. FM band, nowadays most of the stations are using frequency modulation for transmitting for a long distance. So the range of frequencies for those stations are 88 kilohertz to 88 megahertz. Sorry, this mistake. Yeah, 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz. 88 to 108 megahertz. Some examples I have quoted here for AM stations. Say Bangalore AM station, that is medium wave band, Akashvani BSA. The frequency of that is 1089 kilohertz. Bangalore Akashvani, that is Bangalore AM station, medium wave band, 612 kilohertz, which actually falls in this range. Just look at this. It falls in this range. So for each station, different frequency is allocated, and these frequencies are nothing but these are the frequencies of the carrier signals. The frequency of the carrier signals. So we convert this audio frequency in the radio broadcasting 20 Hz to 20 kHz into a single frequency for a Bangalore station of 1089 kHz in the process of modulation. We convert the low frequency signals of 20 Hz to 20 kHz into a single frequency of carrier frequency of 1089, and this carrier is used to carry the audio signals from Bangalore station to your house or your home. Now we check an example of some of the FM stations. The frequencies are say even the All India Radio, that is AIR Akashvani, has a FM station with a frequency of 100.3 megahertz. Here 100.3 is the frequency of the carrier. 93.5 FM, red FM, what we call, or a big FM, 92.7 FM, or Radio Mirchi, the frequency of that is 98.3 megahertz. It is megahertz, not kilohertz. Make a correction. Now, see what I want to say here is we are converting the low frequency signals of audio range into the high frequency carrier signal. Now, what is the advantage of this? Why we need modulation? Why we have to use that frequency translation in terms of in the process of that translation, frequency translation? We are changing the amplitude of the signal, maybe carrier frequency of the signal continuously proportional to the amplitude of the message signal, or we are changing the phase of the carrier signal proportional to any amplitude variation which is happening in the message signal. Why we have to do that? Now these are the few points which I have listed over here. Why we need modulation? It avoids mixing of signals. One of the important advantage of using modulation. It actually increases the range of the communication. Multiplexing of signals are possible. It actually reduces the effect of noise, reduces the height of the antenna required. We will see one by one now. And power radiation. We can radiate the signal to the long distance. These are all the possible. These are the advantages of using modulation. Now we will see one by one. How exactly it avoids the mixing of signals. Now, see, as I told, the audio range is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Usually in the radio broadcasting. If I take a radio broadcasting, it's audible signals. That means it covers actually the voice. Usually what we hear in the radio is not only the voice signal, which comes in the range of 300 Hz to 3000 Hz. We hear some music instrument sounds, maybe low frequency signals, high frequency signals. Overall, covering all this, the speech, the music, and all those things, the audio range is usually in the range of around 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Now, again, you take an example of that AM media wave band. What I'm exactly doing in the modulation process, we are converting these audio signals, whatever the frequency is, 20 Hz, 20 kHz, it can be anything. We are converting that into a single carrier frequency. As I told in the last slide, each station is assigned a particular carrier frequency, and we have to convert. By the modulation process, we are converting a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal. Now, if I don't use modulation, I have a say Bangalore station, we have a Bangalore station, we have a Delhi station, we have some other stations say AM broadcasting they are using. Let us consider, maybe AM or maybe FM, whatever. All these stations are generating the signals in the range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. That is the audio range. If I don't use that frequency translation into a carrier frequency, if I don't use, now what happens? See, my station is generating at a particular set of time. Let us say it is generating a signal with a frequency of 1 kHz. So 1 kHz. Let us consider. Another station is also generating a signal of 1 kHz, and all are radiating their signal in the free space. Okay, I want to tune to my station. Let us say Bangalore. My station is Bangalore. I want to tune to that particular station, 1 kHz. I don't use any modulation. So there is a Bangalore station which is also sending a signal with a 1 kHz. Will they don't interfere with each other? Missing will not happen. I want to tune to a Bangalore station. If a Bangalore station is very strong, now that signal I get a signal from Bangalore station, not Bangalore station. Right? Now, if I use a modulation, let us say I use a modulation here, and I convert this 1 kHz signal which is in the audio band, into a single carrier frequency of say 1080 kHz. That is Bangalore station. For a Bangalore station, it's around 600 kHz, which I showed in the last slide. Now, if I want to tune to a Bangalore station, I can tune to a 600 kHz signal. I want to tune to a Bangalore station, I can tune to a 1080 kHz or 1090 kHz, station, Bangalore station. Here, whether the mixing happens? No. So, what is possible here is we can avoid the mixing of signals, and multiple stations can send their signals over the common channel. We say multiplexing. So, multiplexing is possible by using this particular method. So, we can avoid the mixing of signals because we are translating into a single specific carrier frequency of those particular stations. It may be a radio FM modulation, or it may be an amplitude modulation, whatever. So, mixing can be avoided by using this method. So just I used this particular blank slide to explain how we can represent the spectrum of these stations. Now just see this. So I have a station. Let us consider. I have a low pass signal, which is my audio frequency starts from 20 kHz to 20 Hz to 20 kHz. That is the range of audio frequency. So each stations are generating the frequencies or signals in this particular range. I use a modulation. By using the modulation, what can be done is, see, this translation is done now. So this is 0. Let us consider origin. It's a frequency axis. I use a modulation and I extend this to say this band, another to say this band, different stations. Let us consider. Okay, something like this roughly. I have done roughly here. Let's say the last frequency spectrum is this. Let us consider. Okay, I'm using a AM modulation, medium wave band, 535 to, let us say 535 kHz to, this is last range, that is 1605 kHz. Okay, 1605 kHz. Now, Bangalore station, let us say the Bangalore station will have a frequency of around 630 kHz. Okay. This spectrum is now extended to this. Okay. Let us say somewhere here we get the Bangalore station, somewhere here. Is there any frequency spectrum overlapping here? It's not possible, right? Mixing is not happening here. Now, if I transmit, say, if I don't use a modulation, if I transmit by using only 20 Hz to 20 kHz, all the stations are transmitting with a single, that band. So, as I told earlier, the frequencies will mix up. Now, here I am translating into different frequency bands. So, Bangalore station will use this particular spectrum. Bangalore station will use this particular spectrum. Some other station will use, say, this particular spectrum. So, in this case, the mixing of signal will not happen. That is the advantage. Now, I go to the second case now. Just give me a minute. Now, it actually increases the range of communication. Why? See, in the modulation process, what happened is we translated a low frequency signal into the high frequency signal. Now, energy of the signal, which it actually depends on the frequency. That is, if the frequency is very high, the energy of the signal is high. Frequency is very low, that means the energy is also low. You take an example of information signal, which is a low frequency signal, will have a low energy. If I convert that into a high frequency signal by using a modulation process, then the frequency increases, obviously the carrier frequency, and also the energy of the signal also increases. So if the energy of the signal increases, we can transmit that signal to a large range. So what we can say over here is we can actually increase the range of the communication by using the modulation. Next, I told about multiplexing already here. Multiplexing means transmitting many signals over a common channel. Now here the channel in the radio broadcasting, the channel is free space. So in the free space, we have a stations of say Bangalore station if it is AM if I consider, or it may be a Big FM or Radio Mirchi or some other stations. All can transmit their signals through a common channel, that is free space, without mixing. That is multiplexing. That means multiple signals can be transmitted through a common channel. So that is possible by using modulation. If all are again transmitting using 20 to 20 kilohertz, signals will mix up. So multiplexing is not possible. All stations cannot transmit over a same channel. That is the advantage over here. Now, reduces the effect of noise. Yes, of course, because high frequency signals will have a high energy. High energy means the interference effect will be, or the noise effect will be less on the signals. The noise cannot dominate on my signal because I have a very high strength. My signal is having a very high strength, high energy, because it's a high frequency signal which I got from the modulation process. Now, this is one of the very important advantage, that is actually it reduces the height of the antenna required for a transmitting purpose, say, or receiving purpose. Now, how this length of the antenna and the frequency of the signals are related? Just look at this here. The length of the signal in the communication, normally in the communication, the length of the antenna should be always quarter wavelength. That is, length of this antenna should be, that is L, should be always quarter wavelength, means lambda by 4. What is lambda? Lambda is the wavelength of the signal which I am using for transmitting the signal. Okay, and this wavelength is dependent upon the c, that is velocity of light in the free space, and the frequency of the signal. So the wavelength is inversely proportional to the frequency. If the frequency is low, wavelength will be high. If the wavelength is large, length of the antenna required is also large. That means if I use simple information signal, let us say 20 kilohertz signal. Okay, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz is the audio band. I have taken a highest frequency in the audio band. For this particular 20 kilohertz, if I substitute here the lambda is equal to c by f, where c is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second, I'll get wavelength as 15 kilometers. If I substitute that 15 kilometers in this formula, so L will be equal to how much? 3.75 kilometers, which is impossible, impractical, right? 3.75 kilometer of height of the antenna is not possible. Now, what we can do, we can use a modulation process. We can convert a low frequency signal into, maybe a 20 kilohertz signal into the high frequency carrier of, say, my example, 10 megahertz. If this is the case, in that case, the wavelength of the signal is 30 meters. And if I substitute that 30 meters over here, I'll get a 7.5 meters of length for the antenna. 7.5 meters is not such big a case, right? So practically implementable antenna height is possible, we can say, by using the modulation process. Now, power radiation, I told about that power radiation. Power radiation is actually inversely proportional to the wavelength, square of the wavelength. Now, again, without modulation, low frequency signals, low frequency means high wavelength, radiated power is less. If the frequency of the signal is very large, by using a modulation process, if I get it, wavelength is small, radiated power is large, more distance can be covered. So that is the major advantage here. Now, so till now I explained about why we need modulation. Now we will see what is the different, what are the different types of modulation techniques are used in general. We can classify into two different types. The one is analog modulation. The other one is digital modulation. Okay, under analog modulation, we can have a amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. These two can be called together as angle modulation. Okay. And the digital modulation techniques, we have basically three different types. We have basic types: amplitude shift key, frequency shift key, and phase shift key. That means we are changing the amplitude of the carrier signal proportional to the amplitude of the message signal. It is called amplitude modulation. We are changing the frequency of the carrier signal proportional to the variation, whatever happening in the amplitude of the message signal. It is called frequency modulation. if I change the phase of the carrier signal proportional to the amplitude variation of the message signal, it is called phase modulation. Even here also it is same, but here the information signal is digital. In this case, the message signal or information signal is analog. In both the case, the carrier is analog. In both the case, the carrier is analog, remember, but in this case, the message signal is digital form, zeros and ones, and in this case, a continuously varying analog signal, what we have as a message signal. Okay. Now, see, if I represent a particular carrier here, any carrier, mathematically I can represent as, by using an equation, can be represented as, say, AC, okay, cos omega ct, let us say the frequency of the signal, angular frequency, plus some angle, say phi c, let us consider. This is the mathematical representation of carrier. What I am telling you over here is, we are going to change either the amplitude of this carrier, that is AC. If I change the amplitude of the carrier proportional to the amplitude of the message signal, I will get amplitude modulation. If I change the frequency of the carrier proportional to the amplitude variation, we call this as frequency modulation. If I change this parameter, the phase of the carrier proportional to the amplitude of the message signal, we call this as phase modulation. So this is just the classification or different types of modulation. Now just I'll show you with the simple waveforms for all the three analog methods. We are going to study only the analog modulation methods in this particular subject. Now, amplitude modulation. Just see, this is your message signal, which is a low frequency signal. This is the carrier, basically a high frequency signal. Okay, let's look at this amplitude modulated signal. The amplitude of this signal is not constant; it is continuously changing, proportional to the amplitude of the message signal. As this amplitude of the message signal is changing, see, increasing, maybe decreasing, again increasing over here. Proportional to that, just see, if I touch the peak of all the signals, it gives you the envelope of your message signal. Just look at this. Just look at this. So, as the amplitude of the message signal changes, the amplitude of the carrier is also changing. This is the carrier signal because the frequency of the signal is same. So, we are not going to change the frequency and the phase of this carrier, but only the amplitude of the carrier is changed proportional to the amplitude of the message signal. The second one is a waveform. Again, I have a message signal, I have carrier signal. Just look at the frequency of this carrier. The amplitude remains same, the peak amplitude remains same. Okay, the peak amplitude of this signal and this signal are same. We are going to change the frequency of the carrier. Just look at this, the frequency is continuously increasing as the amplitude increases. Okay, the frequency increases continuously over here. As the amplitude decreases, just look at this, the frequency is also decreasing. So more large wavelength means low frequency. Shorter wavelength means it's a higher frequency. So frequency of the signal is continuously changed. I get a highest frequency at the peak of the message signal. At the peak of the message signal, the frequency of the modulated signal is highest somewhere here. So at this particular point, if I consider at this point and this point, amplitude remains the same. The frequency of the signals also should be same. The modulated signal should also be same. Now the phase modulation, which is rarely used actually in the communication, it's either AM, nowadays more commonly it is for analog modulation is frequency modulation. Just look at this, what is the difference? So I have an analog signal, that is message signal here, this is the carrier, okay? This is the phase modulated signal. Now as in this case, as the phase changes, indirectly frequency also changes. As the frequency changes, just look at this waveform, as the frequency changes here, just give me a minute. Sorry. Yeah. So as the frequency changes with respect to the original carrier, the phase is also changing. So as frequency changes, phase changes. If I change the phase of the signal, in that case, frequency also changes. Just look at this. The frequency is also changing. But what is the difference between phase modulation and frequency modulation? The difference is the frequency or the phase of the signal changes only when the amplitude is increasing. As the amplitude decreases, the phase also decreases, frequency also decreases. Here it is large variation in the phase or the frequency. So just at this point only, that means if the voltage is somewhere here or somewhere here, the difference here in the phase modulation technique is here the phase variation is large because the amplitude is increasing. Here the phase variation is less or the frequency is smaller compared to the same amplitude at the same different points. Okay, so this is actually the phase modulation technique. Now, to conclude, what exactly we studied in this video is what is modulation, what is the need of the modulation, and different types of modulation. Thank you for watching this video.